Aries, this is going to be your general reading for the rest of December 2018. I apologize profusely on how these have come out so late this month. I've been incredibly busy and then I got sick. And so unfortunately I'm going to have to do your reading sick. But I'm feeling a lot better today than I was the past couple of days. So we should sail through this just fine. I hope you're all doing well. This is a general reading for Aries rising, sun, and moon. You guys are some of my favorite people. I am a Leo after all. Actually, my little dog's an Aries. All of the great loves of my life have all been Aries for some reason. So pardon my ramblings. Happy holidays. Happy winter solstice. So I am pleased to say that your reading for this month is amazing. I don't know what's going on today. Maybe the planetary forces going on today are extremely fortunate for everyone because all the last two readings and you have just absolutely phenomenal readings. So hopefully this will apply for you. If it does, then you're supremely blessed. So that being said, for this month, as usual, I'm using the spiral deck for your general cards in your spread. And then for your clarifiers, I'm using this very interesting deck called the Astrological Oracle Cards. And it's not a tarot system. This is the planets and the signs. And they're done in Art Nouveau style. This is the backs of them. This is what they look like. They're extremely beautiful. So we'll see what's happening for you guys. This might be choppy. It depends on how many times I have to blow my nose or wipe my nose. So, okay. I'm going to show you your basic layout and then I'll get started. Your general central experience for December is the 10 of Cups. This is interesting. What is your challenge is the Wheel of Fortune. What is helping you is the Star. At the root or core of your being, you have the Queen of Pentacles. She's been coming out in your readings for a number of months now. In your recent past, you have the Knight of Swords. As your best possible outcome, you have the 9 of Cups. In the near future, you have the 2 of Cups. See what I mean? This is a really nice reading. So you right now are the 4 of Swords. In your surroundings, you have another 4, the 4 of Wands. As your hope and fears, possibly your fears, you have the Hanged Man. And as your general outcome for December, you have the King of Wands. So hang on one moment. Okay. Here we go. For your central experience for December. Looks pretty amazing to me, you guys. You have Leo with the 10 of Cups. It could be an extremely obvious thing where you are extremely happy and fulfilled with a Leo type person or a solar person. That aside, it could be saying that you have poured a great deal of your heart energy and creative energy into some kind of a project or a creative pursuit or a new, something. You've put a lot of energy into some kind of creative pursuit and it has completely paid off. If you, as a hypothetical story, if you wrote a play and directed the play has happened and it had a great turnout. Lots and lots of people came. Everyone loved the play. It got extremely good reviews. It's something like that. It doesn't have to be creative as in the arts, but it's something that you've poured a great deal of your heart into, and it has come to a wonderful culmination where you feel extremely accomplished and happy with the outcome. This could be something to do with romance, children, creativity, speculations, or gambling. I know it sounds weird. Taking a chance on something, or leading something if you have been promoted, possibly. And I see a few other things in here that imply that as well. You may have recently been promoted, or you recently may have proven your worth to a degree where people's esteem of you has risen a great deal, where there's a great deal of people that really not look up to you, but admire you. And admire you for your talents or for your innate qualities that you carry. And you just seem really happy. So there may also be celebrations. This could be a big party that you go to, or one that you helped to organize, or some kind of event that you helped to organize that has a great turnout. Or just something magical happens at some kind of creative event. This. Your challenge is the Wheel of Fortune with Pluto. You may have felt that you're on a downside of the wheel right now. You know, the Wheel of Change or the Wheel of Fortune, it could also be looked at as the Wheel of Change. Sometimes the wheel is going up and you feel lifted up until you reach a very high place. Kind of reminds me of a Ferris wheel. If you're riding on a Ferris wheel, there's constant ups and downs. You're constantly going down and then back up and down and back up. Both are exciting when you're on a Ferris wheel anyway. When you get to the top, you can see the entire world all around you and you feel lifted up to a really high place. When you swing down, you get that wonderful feeling like you're going to fall, but you know that you won't, and that you'll eventually be lifted back up again. But you may be experiencing a downside of the wheel, or you have had to have some kind of a downside of the wheel in order to get in touch with your innermost fears, or what is in your deepest part of your emotional body that holds you back, that needs to be transformed. I'm looking at Pluto here. Pluto is the god of the underworld, and he rules major transformation and metamorphosis, especially of the ego or the sense of self. It's looking at depth into the very bottomless pit of our instincts, where they come from, our internal fears, our internal skeletons, ghosts, vampires, all of those scary Halloween-y type things of the underworld. Sometimes there is hidden treasure or buried treasure in the underworld, where it seems like sometimes it seems painful. It's a stripped bare sort of feeling of you get down to the very bottom of the wheel and you have to face certain aspects of yourself in order to start swinging back up again. This reminds me of a story about Pluto, because he's the lord of the underworld. He had to have the souls weighed first before they decided whether they were going to go to the light or whether they needed to transform a little bit more before they could go to the light. Or it's a weighing of the person's lifetime. For instance, there was a story about a rich king. There was a rich king who did a lot of external accomplishments with his life. He won a lot of battles. He was risen to a very high place, as in being made king. He had a great deal of riches and fine garments and expensive clothing. And it used to be in the very beginning, according to the legend, that souls were not ordered to be naked. At first they could come as the person was during that lifetime. But the story goes, looks can be deceiving. You can't judge or weigh a soul based off of their external accomplishments or what they have, as in cars, money, wealth, prestige, a title, all of those things. The soul needs to be weighed by the actual soul itself, stripped bare of all of the external things. And so Pluto, at being greeted by this rich king with all of his riches, said, "Are you worthy to pass on?" And the king said, "Sure I am. I'm a king. I've got all this money. I have a title. I have all this prestige." It was at that moment that Pluto realized that the guy had a huge ego. It's very Plutonic. And he realized that the man needed to be humbled. And he also had a revelation at that time where he decided from that moment on, all souls that came to the crossroads to Hecate before they could be weighed and decided whether they had good karma, bad karma, which side of the scales they landed on, or whether they were like the majority of us, which is a mix of both of those things. And from that moment on, he decided that all souls had to be naked. They couldn't have any clothing with them. They couldn't have any objects with them. They couldn't have a title. They were weighed purely at their basic core of their soul from then on. And so your challenge for this month may be that you, in order to have an upswing or in order to have your luck improve or things to start to move, I feel as though perhaps the Ferris wheel has temporarily gotten at a standstill. Maybe this is the moment where it's switching people and the people that were on it need to get off and new people need to get on, and so it's still right now. And you're thinking, okay, why is this wheel still? It should be moving one way or the other. Maybe I need to look at some aspects of myself and figure out what inside of myself might be blocking me, or what I need to transform or transmute or deal with or face that can help me have an upswing of the wheel again and for things to start moving. It seems like a lot of deep soul searching. So this is your challenge. But I don't necessarily see this as being a challenge, really. You guys are warriors. You welcome challenge. It's another chance to prove yourselves and to prove to yourself that you can do this. So I don't really see this as completely getting in your way. It's just a challenge. So, what is helping you? Is the star and Jupiter. Excellent. The Jupiter is actually the ruler of the Wheel of Fortune. So like I said, your challenge may be that you fear that things aren't going to get better, or you fear that the wheel is going to stay still for forever. But what is helping you is to have hope and faith and optimism, which is the star here. And this is again reminding me of the myth. Notice she's completely naked. The only objects that she has are two vases that she pours riches and jewels and inspiration out into the world. This kind of makes me, earlier the Ten of Wands started to come out for you, but it went back in. It didn't pop out all the way. And so I let it be and I let it stay in there instead of taking it out. But it reminded me of Santa Claus. Because it's funny, in the Ten of Wands, the person is carrying a huge load on their back. But Santa Claus is the only person I can really think of that carries a huge load on his back, but it's for the purpose of carrying it to certain destinations so that he can gift those wonderful treasures that are inside to other people instead of keeping them. It would only really become a burden for Santa Claus if he kept all those treasures for himself. But because his intention is just the simple burden of carrying it to get to the destinations in order to give it away to the people who need them, it's reminding me of the star with her two vases. She's not holding the hope and the inspirations that are in the vases for herself. Her whole purpose and what brings her joy is to pour that into the world around her, and it comes back to her in the form of the bird. Where what is helping you is to not hang on to anything. It's to completely release and trust the universe that blessings are on their way and you're about to experience an upside of the wheel. You have a great deal of luck on its way to you and expansion. This makes sense. Jupiter just went into Sagittarius, and that is trine to you guys. So you're from the same element. So I would imagine Jupiter is really giving you a huge boost of creative energy, of luck, of expansion, of just good fortune, making you more benevolent than ever, making you want to give back. And so focusing on this sort of way of looking at things, not that you don't feel that way or think that way already, but this is what's helping you, is to do this more. The more you give, the more you'll get back in return. And the more you lay yourself bare to your essential core, and you purify your soul to a point where you're only coming from what truly matters for you, and to receive blessings and then pour them back out so that you can receive more. It's a nice reciprocal, cyclical exchange between you and the universe, or you and the outer world. So this is what's helping you. This is excellent. At your root, you have the Queen of Pentacles. You're feeling very grounded these days and very relaxed, very comfortable, very accomplished. You have been focusing on taking care of your body and staying grounded, and focusing on the things that really matter to you, like relationships with nature, relationships with animals, relationships with other people, where you're able to have what you need and more. If you do happen to have a Capricorn in your life, or someone who seems like the Queen of Pentacles, this person has rubbed off on you. Something about this person is a really good influence on you, where simply by just having this person around, you feel better, you feel more stable, you feel like you can accomplish anything and have time to relax. But I feel as though you're feeling very prosperous these days, or you're feeling very accomplished with everything that you have nurtured and put your energy into. Something about your surroundings, too, feels very comfortable. You may also be focusing on goals, long-term goals that you would like to see grow more and come to a good harvest, as in focusing on your career, or how you make money, or getting more creative with what you do to make money. Something. There may be somebody who comes along that would give you an amazing opportunity, or grant you with something that you need to improve your business or your money situation. So in your recent past, you have the Knight of Swords and Mercury. Excuse me. In the recent past, you may have had to deal with a difficult person that communicates in an abrasive way. You may have also taken this role on too. It could vary depending on... sorry, that was my crazy little Aries dog. Okay. We were here. This could take a number of different forms. You know more than me on how this applies. It could be that in the recent past you've had to deal with someone who is abrasive with their words. They may just come off as being maybe a little arrogant, or a little bossy, or just a little too combative with how they communicate. Not that neutral, let's put it that way. And you could have had many scenarios stem from this, where perhaps you lost your composure and you got abrasive back. Or you may have kept your tongue and decide not to engage. You know more than me on how this played out. Or you could have possibly come off as being a little too abrasive with your words with other people, and it made you realize that you need to get more neutral with how you communicate. Normally, the god Mercury is neutral. He's the only god that is neutral. His old name before Mercury was Hermes, and Hermes is one of the parts of the word hermaphrodite. It was considered a neutral god that was both masculine and feminine. And so if you think about things like the press or journalists, the journalistic approach to things is to be as neutral as possible and just to tell a fuller story of many different sides of something, and to approach things with not deciding what to believe in just yet. It's just to find out and deal with information. But as you can see, the Knight of Swords is not neutral. He's very almost aggressive in how he communicates at times, which sometimes that's needed, especially if you're a leader and people aren't paying attention or are getting too lazy. Sometimes we do need to get into positions where we have to speak a little stronger, but a lot of the time it isn't necessary, or to demand answers or demand for information. That usually comes after you've been trying to speak neutrally for a long time, and eventually you just kind of lose it and you have to yell in order to get people's attention. But you either have been this or you've dealt with this in the form of somebody else. But it looks as though you did a lot of thinking about this, where you decided, okay, concerning other people that are annoying with how they communicate, I have to get more neutral where I don't let it affect me so much. And if it's been you've realized the same thing, that you perhaps have been being a little too abrasive, and it's time to get a little bit more neutral about things and keep your composure. So this is where you're coming from. You may have also received some kind of a very sudden, quick message that came out of nowhere or took you by surprise, possibly too. So, or you may have had to yell in order to get certain information that you needed if they didn't listen the first 100 times. You know more than me on how that played out. So your best possible outcome is that your wish comes true and your wish is granted. And your wish that is granted brings you a great deal of happiness and joy. This is also reminding me of your central experience for this month, which is the 10 of Cups in with Leo, which is creativity and romance and children, among other things. Could also be a person. You are feeling extremely happy. Something that you have been wanting or wishing for that means a great deal to you ends up happening as your best possible outcome. If you wished for a grand love, then you get it. If you wished for a positive outcome to something you've been pouring your creative energy into, you get it. Whatever it is that you wish for deep in your heart, your best possible outcome is that you get it. And it makes you extremely happy. The Sun here is the ruler of Leo. This is directly reminding me of that 10 of Cups and Leo card. I feel as though you took a risk and you put a great deal of your energy into something, and you were hoping for a good outcome from all of this, but it looks as though perhaps the outcome that you get is greater than even you expected. And it makes you feel extremely proud of yourself and happy. At the point where you want to share. You want to share your happiness and possibly give back. Or take those blessings and pour them out into the world around you as well. I don't feel as though you're being selfish in any way with this great gift or great wish being granted, or grand outcome to all of your hard focusing your creative energies and heart into something. It looks as though what's helping you is to pour it back out into the world. I don't see you as clutching it or holding it to your chest or hoarding it or anything like that. I see you sharing it with the world around you, which is amazing. And in your future, this may be your wish that gets granted. Who knows? You have a great love or a great connection. This doesn't have to be a relationship or romance. This can be any soulmate connection with anybody that just makes you feel really solid in yourself. You're well understood. You understand each other well. You combine your energies well. You meld together well. Your clarifier with this is Cancer and Taurus. So I don't know if the signs Leo, Cancer, and Taurus are important to you. They don't have to be. I'm just throwing it out there. What I am getting is that you have either been in a relationship for a while, and it's now getting to the point where you're getting domesticated and you may be deciding to have a family together, or you may be deciding to move in together where you live in the same place. And you're deciding to stay committed to each other. Taurus and Leo are both extremely loyal signs. All the fixed signs are extremely loyal, especially Taurus. Taurus is patient and calm enough to be able to handle change in relationships and to see a good thing when they have it and to hang on to it and continue to pour loving energy into fertilizing it or cultivating a relationship, realizing that this is a good thing and you want to continue to pour energy into it to feed it so it has what it needs in order to grow properly and remain stable. This again can be a family card or home card as well. You may have common goals or dreams together that you want to manifest together. That's coming from the Taurus here. You may have similar dreams on what to manifest as far as a home or a situation concerning your home base or what you want to be your values in life. You are on the same page with this. You may decide to start a family or get married or propose or move in together, or you decide that this is it. This is the relationship that you want to be in, and you're willing to cultivate it. You're willing to use your emotional energy and your patience towards cultivating this relationship and keeping it strong, which is definitely one way I'm seeing this. This could also be that I'm seeing for someone you may have relocated to a new location. And if that's the case, something about where you were living before wasn't necessarily as conducive for relationships or feeling stable the way that you are now. Perhaps the feng shui in your old location wasn't that good for relationships, and all of a sudden you've moved to a new location that facilitates this more, or where you are able to meet more like-minded people than before. Maybe you're surrounded now by interesting people that you feel you see more eye to eye with, or that understand you better than before. But something about this looks really beautiful. It looks very nurturing and stable and fruitful. If this is a business partnership, this is going to be a solid business partnership that brings in a real deep understanding of how each other works and what you bring to the table concerning this. A real good flow with how you relate to each other and what's important to you. And also money making or abundance or being able to produce more than before. Okay, my dog's crying. I'll be right back. Okay. So, you right now, you have Uranus with the Four of Swords. And what I'm getting from this is that there's a lot that's happening and changing right now. With what's your challenge, it seems as though you have to do some major inner transformation work, but it's nothing that you can't handle. But in order to facilitate that, you're definitely going to need periods of rest or relaxation or calm, or just where there isn't much going on around you, so that you can rest your mind, possibly sleep more, and center your mind where your mind isn't running from here to there all over the place. You may have a lot going on right now. There may be some major changes that are very sudden, and I'm getting most definitely for the better. But something about all of this happening is possibly making you feel a little bit exhausted at times. And so it's important for you to regulate the unpredictable changes that are happening and unpredictable energy by making sure that your surroundings are peaceful enough for you to be able to rest at certain times. It may be for some of you, you might be struggling with insomnia, or you might be struggling with managing to get enough sleep. You might try to lie down at night and go to sleep and your mind's just racing with lots of thoughts, just from all of the things that are happening right now. And it's important for you to rest, or make sure that you have a certain period before you go to bed where you have very little stimuli. I'm getting you might need to take a hot bath, or you play very soft music, or what's been helping me, I struggle with lack of sleep sometimes, is rain sounds. If you play rain sounds or ocean waves, just some kind of white noise that's natural that can help you feel sleepy. Maybe some warm milk with honey. Just something, some kind of little routine you can come up with to help you relax when you need to, so that you don't feel exhausted with all of this. So that's where you're at now. You may receive some kind of sudden news that requires you to meditate for a little bit and process the message that you got. So in your surroundings, this is reminding me of that Two of Cups. You may be deciding to start a new home, or start a new solid base. Maybe move in together, or get married, or decide to have children. If you're not in a relationship, this is saying your chance for harmony with other people, with your surroundings, with your home, with what you surround yourself with. It looks very stable and comforting and mutually nurturing. So it seems as though you're feeling quite stable these days in a really fun, creative way. Like you feel accomplished with what you have built up for yourself, but it's not so solid that you can't grow. So your surroundings look wonderful. You might have some kind of announcement about something that has become steady or permanent or lasting now, or stable now. You may move to a new home, or if you have already moved to a new home, you're fully enjoying it. If you have been in a relationship where you've decided to make it more stable, it looks excellent. Just feels like there's a lot of harmony coming in, or there already. So what I'm getting from this is that for you in this reading, the Hanged Man is representing that you are afraid that things are going to remain at a standstill. This is reminding me of the Ferris wheel analogy that I was talking about earlier. You might be afraid that the Ferris wheel is just stopping, and who knows how long it's going to be before it starts moving again. But this is your fear. Or that things are going to remain slow or at a standstill. It feels as though your hope is that you will receive some kind of inspiration, or get back in touch with yourself in order to help facilitate that movement again, to get started again. And so what is helping you is you, Aries. So your hope is that action will happen, that things will start to move again, that you'll see progress. And also, with these two together, your hope is that you will get back fully in touch with your deepest part of yourself. You'll get back in touch with your dreams. You'll get back in touch with your inspirations. You'll feel re-inspired, renewed, and ready for action again. So that's your hope. Your general outcome, this again is something telling me that perhaps you might be promoted, or you might have more responsibility put on you in a good way to prove yourself based off of the things that you have done already. You've proved to be reliable. You've proved to be steadfast in pouring your energy into something to see it come into manifestation. And because of this, again, I'm getting something about you are well admired, or people look up to you, or people see what your worth is. You've proven yourself, in other words. You have proved yet again how capable you are of being able to guide something, lead something, manifest something. You're fully aware of your own internal authority. And also, I feel as though you've done a lot of work on your behavior, on how you behave with other people, to not bite people's heads off, because let me tell you, this is the Leo card. I'm a Leo. I know what I'm talking about. This king could easily unleash that dragon on people. He could easily cut off other people's heads, but he chooses not to. He chooses to behave in an honorable way that naturally brings about admiration from other people. He is extremely self-controlled in his willpower and how he chooses to behave and what he chooses to do, where he's using his fire in a constructive way rather than a destructive way. And I feel as though you've done a lot of work on this. You've done a lot of work on this. You've proven to be self-controlled to the point where you can use your fire in a constructive manner. And because of that, you are being recognized for your gifts, and you are being applauded for this. You may even be promoted. And promotions can be a broad thing. This may not have to be promoted at work, although it could be, because it is with Capricorn. This could be the universe promotes you. The universe promotes you and gives you a wish that you have had because of your efforts that you have put into things and into yourself. So, here I am. Okay, Aries, I hope that was worth the wait. I am so sorry for these coming out late. Many, many blessings to you. I love you very much. I wish you all the best. And I shall see you very, very soon. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. Okay.